Alright, good day. This is Honest GB Fan, finally putting up another update. I was kind of talked into it by Jeff Rogers. If somebody watching this is just making a new layout, it's a good video to watch because he too is making a new one, and he shows some of the steps that he took to get his done. This is my third layout. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more complicated. You can see the track plan here. I made this on SCARM. It was pretty easy to do. Lots of stuff on the internet about how to do that. And roughly what I have is let me guess, about an 11 by 10 by 11 and a half foot room, counting the closet space. And what I plan on doing is this here, why it took me so long to get this done, is that this area here will run along this wall. Let me get through this. And I'm going to be building it along these walls here. It's roughly a square room. This is the closet space. I'm going to build the yard work in there later. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that right away or at some other date, but I will be doing these walls here. It's a shelf layout, obviously. And in the center of the room is going to be the Panther Valley Railroad, a plan that was created by Jim Hediger. I believe that's his name. Hediger, Hediger, from, what was this layout done? 1985, I believe, in April, Model Railroader magazine. I can show you in a second. But here's the layout itself. I like this center section. It's going to be a, let me try to align this. Let me shrink it back down. There we go. Anyways, here we go. I like this layout. It's self-contained, except that I'm going to have this come off the side here, and it's going to attach, roughly it's going to be the other way around. This way, I'm sorry. I should have fixed that. It's going to be this way. And this track here will be coming off here and continue on into the main line that I'm going to build on the shelf layout. This will be added later in the center of the room as a table type layout that I can just run by myself, or maybe with my my youngest son or somebody. Anyways, back to this. The reason it took me so long, and I have to give kudos to Jeff Rogers again. Check out his YouTube site. Let me get my coffee out of the way because, of course, coffee's always omnipresent here whenever I'm doing something. Gotta have coffee. Coffee. So let me move these other things. What happened was I plan on running a drop-down section that's going to come through here and up this way, which is along this part of the board here, and it will drop down underneath the table, and I'm going to have a staging area. The staging area will will lower down here, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have it loop back this way or loop all the way around to make the grade a lot smaller. And then that will be underneath the table here, probably about 8 inches below. I've posted a video about grades and how to create them, if anybody's interested in watching that, and how to figure them out so you can figure out what kind of space you need for a 1, 2, 3, whatever size grade you need for your layout. Anyways, being under the table, I'm not too worried about how it looks, but at the same time, I need the grade to be pretty consistent and level when it gets to this area here for my staging area underneath. And let me show you what I had to do. It's going to drop down. Let me get this stuff off the table here. It's going to drop down. It's going to come around here, roughly this way, and then up to this point and around that way and drop down in there. And what I needed to do was have the ability to have this lower down here, because it's going to take quite a few feet, many feet actually, to drop down the 3 inches or so that I needed to clear the top or the bottom, however you want to look at this, of the benchwork here. So what I had to do was find a way to not have support beams across the thing here. And what I did was, even though I've used this method before, I never thought of it for this, and I was stuck as to what to do. And then I was watching Jeff Rogers' layout, and it dawned on me that I don't have to have boards this way. I can have them going the other way. And what I did was, let me show you. I created supports this way. So where now it's going to drop down behind here. There's 15 inches space here roughly. And what's going to do is going to go down below, and then we'll connect with the other part of the shelf layout over there, which I haven't done yet. And then the rest of it will be over in that corner. There's a shelf that will be 30 inches there. And then let me back up to the end of the room here, because I'm pretty sure this is about as minimum as I can get for the scale here. Anyways, that wall there will be a shelf laid out 30 inches. 30 inches there. There's the closet space. And then on top of that, in the center of the room here, where that white shelving is sticking out, will be where the Apple Valley Railroad is. The Apple Valley Railroad, let me get that back out again, is something I'm really interested in, because I want to point it out to many people, because in HO scale, it is 5 feet by 10 feet, I believe, or 6 feet by 10 feet. So in N scale, although N scale is not exactly half of HO, it is close. So you can relatively fit your layout. This Apple Valley layout, could be roughly about 3 feet by 5 feet. I'm going to go about 3 feet 4 inches and 6 feet this way. And, well, the 3 feet 4 inches or so, give or take, widthwise here. This would be widthwise because of the 2 aisles on each side. Then the length would be roughly 6 feet to here, but I'm actually going to use part of this here and extend it into that area there. And there's lots of room in this plan for scenery and everything else along the shelving. And what I wanted to do is thank Jeff for encouraging me to get something done here, and also for the way he explained it. Not explained it, but when he had one of his updates, I realized, hey, there's what I need. I need to do that, even though, like I said, my second layout is pretty much similar to his, the way it is in the room. It's not quite straight like this one is. It's going to be 30 inches all the way around. But I needed to find a way to drop this track down without disturbing the supports across the board. And this is pretty sturdy. One of the issues I came up with, and believe me, learn from my mistakes. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to make this video. If you look down at this end of the track, of the bench work, it's not straight. What I found out was, I measured the room, and what I found out was that the measurements weren't the same all the way across. The corners were not plumb. One end of the room is actually about 3 inches wider than the entranceway, which is behind me where I'm making this video. And I didn't realize that. The plans I made were made plumb, just straight. So from this point forward, I'm going to actually just measure as I go. That was a mistake I made. I assumed that the room was perfectly square in the corners, and it's not. And I also found out that with paneling, you have these, here, I'll show you this one. Sorry about my mounting here. It's not a professional mount. It's kind of squeaky. Anyways, I have this here. And what happens is that it sticks out maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch. Not quite a quarter, but 1/8 of an inch. And so it's not flat against the wall. But I don't want it flat against the wall anyways. And this section here, I'm actually made a little lip here. I'm going to probably create a a triangular section here just to extend this a little bit for scenery, and maybe a industry over in that corner separated from this area here. Sorry about my mounting here. It's, like I said, I'm in no way a professional photographer, and I just have a cheap tablet I'm using here. Anyways, back to this. I like this layout. This is it's called the Time Saver puzzle, and I added that just to give me something to do, to have fun. Like I said, when I'm by myself, a switching puzzle, and I've seen that on YouTube, and you can check it out yourself. Anyways, what else I'd like to say is besides my own mistakes and measuring things a lot more accurately than I did, I don't know how to bring this up in any other way, except that when my kids were little, I had an idea. I taught them the method of just one a day. And I don't know how to get this out there into space, so to speak, into the world, so to speak. So I'm going to do that here. What it is, it's just an idea I had when my kids were little, because I had 5 kids. There was my wife, myself, my 5 kids, and they've all grown and left the house now. But I've always taught them just one a day. Every day, just pick up one piece of litter. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but what is there? 6-7 billion people on the planet? If everyone picked up one piece of litter a day, that would make a huge impact on the planet for the future. I'm not necessarily an environmentalist. This is just something that I noticed one day as I was walking into my job. There was just a plastic cup laying on the ground. It had been run over. It was crushed. And I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to pick it up. And then as I was throwing it away, I said, well, why don't I pick up one a day? And then I said, well, why don't I teach my kids one a day? And then why don't my kids teach the people they know one a day? And eventually, hopefully, maybe we can get the entire world to pick up one piece of litter a day. That's all. Just one. And I don't know how to get that information out there, or that idea, or create some kind of program for such a thing. And somebody jokingly said, why don't you contact the one-a-day vitamin people? And I said, well, that may be a good idea, but I don't know if anybody's interested in this idea or not. But I wanted to throw it out there, because even if just 20 people do it that see this video, well, that's 20 more pieces of trash every day picked up. And like I said, it's just one a day. It's not that difficult. It's something we can all do. It's not time consuming. We all walk by litter every single day. And like I said, I just wanted to throw that out there to people that may want to try that. It's not something that's like a lot of these laws that are created where you have to do it. But at the same time, it's just something we can all do. And it's, I don't know, beneficial in the long run. Anyways, like I said, I wanted to throw that out there. I have no other way to put that out there, so I thought I'd add it to this video. And that's about it. Other than the layout itself, again, Jeff Rogers, thank you. Thank you for telling me to get off my you-know-what and do something. I know I encouraged you to make your own YouTube videos a while back, and I'm glad you did, because you gave me the not only incentive, but the idea for this center board. Oh, I got my coffee back right here. Kind of hard to move the board again. Oh, wait, I'll just do it now. That centerpiece, it's plenty sturdy. I'm going to have 1-inch foam on top of it, so once I screw this down, it's going to be very stable. I did this with my second layout, and the boards underneath, I know they don't look strong, but they are. Once I cross them with some X-beams there, they're going to be very, very sturdy. And I have to be able to get underneath the layout. So what I did was, I made that opening there. That was part of the issues that I had in continuing my next step. Now I can get underneath there, and I have access underneath. There's going to be storage on the left, storage on the right. Over here, storage. Over there, storage. But that's about where it's going to start to drop down. And then I will be able to use it all the way around underneath I will have openings where I can actually access the open track. I didn't want a tunnel where things were hidden and I couldn't get to, because it's so much space to make a shallow grade to drop down to the staging area I want. I didn't want that to be a tunnel where I didn't have access to everything. I didn't want a removable top. And I just thought, hey, that's going to be great. Here where I live in Reno, Nevada, we have they spent years dropping the railroad down because of its, the more the railroad was used, connecting California to the rest of the country here, coming through the Sierra Nevadas, they had to lower the tracks. And that's when I thought, oh, what a stupid idea. That's just a waste of money. But no, I see what they've done, and it seems to work out well. Now we have, instead of railroad crossings, we just have bridges across where the railroad goes. And it doesn't hold up traffic, doesn't stop ambulances, doesn't get in anybody's way. It just goes down several feet, obviously, and comes back up into the yard east of town. And that was it. And that's what gave me my idea eventually to drop this down into a staging area and have like a lowered track. It's going to be with retaining walls and all kinds of interesting stuff. And anyways, let me get off this. There's I don't want to make this too long, but I wanted to throw the just one a day item idea out there to those of you who would like to try it and teach others. It's not a bad idea, and it's easy to do. And then again, I wanted to put a quick update out there about my railroad and why I've been hesitating to get something done. I didn't know what to do. Anyways, thank you very much. I hear my phone ringing. You have a great day. Thanks again to Jeff Rogers and DJ's Trains and several others who influenced me. And you have a great day. Honest GB from Panther Valley Railroad, signing out. Thank you. Bye.